Alright, let's talk about Are You There, God? It's me, Dean! A super important Season 1 episode, if maybe not my favourite, definitely because of the ramifications it's had throughout the series. We're first introduced to Grover Cleveland's time machine.
Thank you for finding Grover Cleveland's presidential time machine for me. I'll give him
What originally seemed as a one-off joke to the only US president to serve non-consecutive 4-year terms. I think that's the person. It comes back later on in the show in Season 7, where Rusty and Billy reappear from its bowels.
Get your finger. Don't touch anything else.
Crap, a caveman! And Malcolm?
A scene hopefully we'll get some more details about in the movie, or maybe we won't, because it's the Venture Bros. Sometimes shit just happens. But the Monarch has got the Venture family held hostage, all tied above the deadly Amazon River.
The minute you finish your little speech, I'm gonna kill you.
What are you, Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Full of the most dangerous fish known to mankind. The dreaded Kandiru fish.
Mighty Amazon, teeming with the most gruesome fish to ever...
Piranha!
Dreaded Kandiru.
Which John calls fake, but it is in fact a real fish. It does not do that.
Naughty little fish with a penchant for swimming up a man's urethra. Just feed.
As commonly as it might be seen in TV and movies, but it has happened before.
That is a total myth. There is no such fish.
Fortunately for the Monarch, in the middle of his triumphant victory speech, Dean's no-no starts to hurt.
I don't want to say.
Oh, great.
Dean?
My no-nose hurt.
Which is obviously the super mature word his Doc's sons call their testicles.
What the hell are no-nos?
That's the super adult term my teenage sons use to refer to their genitals.
So they have to take a break because it's guild time. The Guild of Calamitous Intent is basically just designed to screw over the Monarch in every conceivable way.
In 1969, the Guild of Calamitous Intent enacted an addendum to Article 47 of the Unusual Torture Act.
The Guild pulls victory away from him, so they take a break. Doc heads off with Dean to try and figure out the source of his testicular problems and hanker for the Monarch's secret lair.
Then guard him.
We also find out the Monarch's reason for joining the Guild of Calamitous Intent is full dental, which is a little bit interesting.
Which, incidentally, I only joined to get the full dental and partial health package, as this pretty cut and dry.
Especially based on some of the interactions we know he's had in the past with the Guild. As Hank is flown towards the Monarch's secret cocoon hidden anywhere on the world.
The location of my flying cocoon is highly secretive. Even I don't know its whereabouts. It may well be floating over the moon.
Even the moon, under the seas. The Monarch explains that this rule is Rusty's law.
It's also called Rusty's Law. They used to call my dad Rusty
How do you think your father knew everything about it?
because he's a genius super scientist.
Something that his dad created many years ago, so I guess Rusty would get murdered less or die less of medical emergencies whilst tied up. And we also get what must have been just a one-off joke in the minds of the writers in Season 1, but turns out to be poetic as the Monarch reveals to Hank that he is in fact his father.
What would you say if I told you that your mother was someone you've met before?
What?
And what if I told you that your father is not your real father? Hank. Hank! I am your real father.
Big old Darth Vader moment, but he wasn't that far off. The Monarch is now his creepy uncle. And the Monarch talks about wanting to hate Hank's grandfather, the one and only Jonas Venture. While all of this is happening, Brock is in the back of the plane with 21 and 24, who are badly holding him prisoner.
It's not like that's loaded or anything.
What are you, some sort of an imbecile?
So, back in the X1, we see Doc Helper trying to work out what's going wrong with Dean.
Girls like that are usually on the dope. Dean, have you been shooting dope into your scrotum? You can tell me.
Doc is not a very good medical scientist, doctor. He's also not a very good scientific doctor, or just very good. And he suggests that Dean might have been injecting dope into his balls because of that dirty skank Triana, who Doc's very suspicious of because, God, Doc. But Dean knows better, and he decides to not let his father touch his balls and work out what's wrong with him. He needs a real medical professional.
Dad, please, please, please don't fill me up.
Cut to Billy in an apron telling White that he needs to flush the toilet properly while he plays GTA on the PlayStation.
Come on, fella, you're blocking the screen.
Is it so hard to pull a handle?
Oh, now where could I have heard this before?
And we get our first real introduction to conjectural technologies. The genius, the super smart boy genius that is Billy Quizboy, and Pete White, computer whiz.
Conjectural technologies. Master Billy, boy genius speaking.
Billy, you gotta do it.
How can we make their tomorrow better?
And they prepare to help Doc out for a considerable sum of money. Back in the Monarch's flying device, we see him start to locate the cocoon using its homing beacon, whilst Hank goes through the Guild's Book of Faces and talks about some of the more interesting villains like the Zoo Creeper, and the Monarch's not in the book because he's not a real Guild member yet, because Phantom Limb?
Phantom Limb is responsible for this. He's the one who hid the Monarch's illicit activity from the Guild.
But once they enter the secret hive of the Monarch, are surprised by a giant party for the Monarch for his birthday.
Surprise! Crap, an ambush!
Unfortunately for the henchman at the front, that leads to his death as he gets darted by the mighty Monarch, and all of the henchmen freak out as they see Brock Sampson entering the cocoon.
Someone got a Brock Sampson?
Billy and White explain what they're going to have to do to save Dean's life, or at least his testicles, as they have to spin him around, where whilst Hank and Brock are shown the mighty lair of the Monarch and are introduced to Doc Girlfriend, who sexy AF in the scene.
Boy, he's a sexy
Oh, sweet mercy. Dr.
And Hank complains about the last time the Monarch held him hostage and his stinky cell.
Hey, you put me in a stinky old jail cell last time I was here.
You broke my heart, Hank.
Billy explains to Dean that he is not in fact a boy genius anymore and is 34, whilst Brock and Hank have a lovely sleepover.
He's been pulling that boy genius crap for at least the 20 years that I've known him.
Well, no one is really that impressed with Master Billy Quizboy, adult genius.
Hank complains about wearing the same clothes for the umpteenth time. And Brock sleeps naked.
Get the kid a change of clothes. How about you? You okay?
I didn't sleep in my clothes.
27! Burn his sheets!
So the Monarch has the sheets burned, because who doesn't want a Brock-soaked blanket or duvet? We see another glimpse of the Monarch's command room as the day is long.
Can you get me a Fresca? Well, what do we usually do?
You make some I'm gonna get Dr. Venture speech. And
Due to the fact they can't ask the infamous Rusty Venture at the moment, they're sat around doing nothing, and it's a little bit sad. And Brock mocks the Monarch for never giving the whole world domination as the world domination plots ago.
Why haven't you tried the world domination thing? You afraid of the big leagues?
Please, how stupid do I look to you? World domination. I'll leave that to the religious nuts and the Republicans, thank.
Mocks the Monarch for never giving the world domination thing a go. But he says he's just going to leave it to the Republicans, which seems pretty fair. Billy explains to Dean what testicular torsion is.
News is that you have a condition known as acute testicular torsion.
What does that mean?
Well, in a nutshell, no pun intended, your balls pull the 180.
Whilst Doc talks about how he could have probably cut this out in the development phase, which might be our first sign that the boys are clones. I wonder at what point throughout this season the writers knew for sure they were going to do it.
There's nothing you could have done.
I could have fixed this in the prototype phase.
Smurfs don't lay eggs.
If she didn't lay eggs!
Smurfs don't lay eggs! I won't tell you this again! Papa Smurf has a f***ing beard! They're mammals!
They just can't. There's no way they are a egg-laying society. They must have magic clones or something. Sorry 21, sorry 24. No way they lay eggs and or have her constantly pregnant. And Brock starts his murderous rampage because he's got to do something to make the Monarch's life a little bit better today. 21 and 24 obviously think it's a giant spider because of Brock's nimbleness and multiple limbs.
It's a giant spider!
See? Now we're talking here, huh? Giant spider in the cocoon? Where's Simpson?
As Brock takes them both out, he comes up to the Monarch's view screen and tells him the party's over. But the Monarch gives him a big old thank you because it's cops and robbers. Both of them know the game.
Out!
Party's over, Monarch. It's time I shut down this little tree fort of yours.
Bruh.
What?
Thank you.
And then we get a lovely montage of Billy and White performing surgery while Brock fights off the many minions of the Monarch. Take as many as you want.
Him out! Let him take as many pawns as he needs!
Before Brock eventually gets into Dr. Girlfriend's room. At which point...
You're going to take advantage of me, aren't you? Well, be quick with it.
Billy and White finish the surgery, and they go for a high five, only for Billy to get a little bit stabbed. Brock and Dr. Girlfriend share a brief moment together, as Brock suggests that he would, well, just hadn't thought about having sex with her.
To be honest with you, I never really considered that.
Why not?
Just it.
Well, I'm not gonna beg.
And Doc's girlfriend is not going to beg for sex, because she's better than that. But she is taken hostage by Brock as he continues his cocoon rampage. Dean gets some lovely presents like a voodoo fetish doll and a better penis.
Got you a Zuni fetish doll for being such a brave little trooper. I do hope you don't already have one.
You're good as new, maybe even better.
While over in the cocoon, we witness the final showdown. Brock versus the Monarch. Each now has a hostage in hand.
Give me the boy, Monarch.
The boy's with me now. Give me the girl or your precious Hank Venture dies!
But before there is a final solution, Doc calls in. Problem now solved, they can return to their perilous situation from before. Hank mocks Dean about his gross dog dork, because assumedly he is circumcised, but then one clone Hank next isn't circumcised, because then he gets circumcised in Dr. Quim.
Harry, did the doctor see that creepy dog dork of yours?
Hank, don't brag to your brother about your circumcision. And what are you wearing?
It's the Monarch's crown!
And then we're back to the start of the episode. The boys and the Venture family are held hostage by the Monarch above the Amazon River and the deadly Candero fish.
Swims the dreaded Candiru, a naughty little fish with a penchant for swimming up a man's urethra.
Come on, just do it.
Is it all a big time travel joke? Who knows? Because next up, Hank's in pain, as guess what? His testicles are now twisted. And we get a lovely finishing after credit scene of the boys explaining testicular torsion, and there's even a strange website link that is now a virus, but on the Wayback Machine you can still view it.
Testicular torsion isn't just something on TV. It's a real problem.
Testicular torsion occurs only in males, usually under 25 years of age.
If you're experiencing sharp pains in the scrotum.
And it turns out Doc Hammer, the creator of the show, he had testicular torsion as a child, and I guess just wanted to share his pain with the world. Alright, catch you next time.